welcome back to The Rush. I'm Bianca Salterbeck.
And Bianca is dressed for the occasion because we are about to talk about Valentine's Day. It is soon approaching, and we have a professional matchmaker from right here in Vancouver joining us now to tell us how you can get through the holiday. Jane Carstens, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So tell us what it is that you do as a professional matchmaker.
Well, I put people together and lead people to suitable matches and eliminate ones that aren't suitable.
And why do people need your services these days?
Well, it's really tough to meet people. I find, in any city, but Vancouver especially, people just don't socialize like we used to. A lot has to do with the internet. We stick behind the social media stuff, and I think also too that it's a very high entrepreneurial city where there's a lot of small businesses. So a lot of us are entrepreneurs, work from home, don't get out, and hence that's some of the reasons why we're not so social.
And I think people have an idea of what matchmakers are. I think most people think of a combo between Fiddler on the Roof and Millionaire Matchmaker. Right. Maybe you can clarify how your business works and how people get in touch with you if they're single and they feel like someone like you could help. What do you do?
Right. Well, I think that, I look back to the old traditional ways of doing things, going out and meeting clients in their own homes, getting a chance to see a good picture about what their lifestyle is. That's a really big, important piece of the puzzle. Kind of like, if you can use the analogy of a real estate agent, when you want to buy a house, you don't want to see every house for sale. You just want to go to the ones that fit, and that's kind of what I do.
So what happens when you meet with people in their homes, and then what's sort of the next step once you have a good idea of what they're like and what they're looking for?
We go through some detailed questions and find out a lot about the person and what they're looking for, and then the matching starts, the magic happens. I don't use computers or algorithms to do matching. It's good old intuition and good listening skills, listening to what my clients are saying, and it usually works.
And is it a busy time of year for you? January, February, Valentine's Day, of course, approaching, and just coming off of New Year's, where I think people make resolutions and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is it a busy time?
It is. New Year's Eve, I'm getting emails New Year's Eve. I think a lot of people, it's holiday time, they realize they're on their own, and it's time to try something different, step outside the box a bit. And then if you start working on it now, then by the time the summer comes along and you're taking summer vacation, you've got someone to enjoy it with.
All right, well, let's talk about the big day, Valentine's Day.
Coming up.
It is tough for the singles out there, so we're going to take it from that standpoint.
Right.
What's your advice for people who are alone on Valentine's Day?
Well, I say keep in spirit of it. Don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as a good thing. There are a lot of events in town, some of the local bars and clubs that are specifically for singles. So grab some of your single friends and get out there. It's a great time to get out there and be places. They've got salsa night where no partner, no experience required. I mean, how easy is that? There's lots of meetup groups in town too that do events as well.
So what I'm getting though from you is that these days you really meeting someone, it's something that you have to put some time and effort into.
Well, yeah, it's hard work. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, we'd all be
No one would be
up.
single, yeah.
We'd all be paired up. I think what you've got to do is not give up and look at every day as Valentine's Day and keep your spirits up, and there is always somebody out there for everybody.
I think the psychology of Valentine's Day can be difficult for some single people because it is out there, you might feel extra lonely because it's geared towards the couples. So how do you think people should prepare their mindset for February 14th?
Well,
is it a Hallmark holiday?
Yeah. Well, you can look at it a couple different ways. I mean, you could look at it as a very commercialized type of a holiday as well. The only ones that are happiest are the flower shops and the candy places around town. I think that if you can just even look at it from the fact of where it comes from. Valentine's Day, centuries-old tradition is some
not that happy,
lovesick guy that ends up getting murdered because of it. So, and maybe look at the fact we all know people who aren't in a happy situation and are kind of stuck in one, and maybe you're the lucky one that you're not.
Better to be home on your couch eating Haagen-Dazs, watching a good movie, than maybe being out on a date and fighting the whole night.
What about February 15th, the bright side? What should one do on that day?
Ah, okay.
I love this
Go buy a half-price box of chocolates and eat the whole thing. That's the biggest thing.
That's a great tip. Yeah, really
Well, let's
enjoyed
get
that
back to the matchmaking for a moment. What is? I think most people think that it's guys that use matchmaking services. Maybe it's not. Who uses your services, Jane?
It's men and women both alike. I mean, obviously, I need both to do matchmaking. But it depends on the ratio men to women. It's typically a 65% women to men split. And that varies depending on age range as well.
What is the biggest age range of those who approach your services?
And again, that's city specific. I work with clients in Victoria, Vancouver, and Calgary. I find Victoria tends to be a little older, 50s and 60s. Vancouver tends to be more 40s and 50s. And
Is it often like a second marriage too? People that are coming to you after a divorce? So it's not-
typically,
yeah.
They're widowed, unfortunately,
Right.
young widows that haven't dated in years and just really don't know what to do. And you know, with using a service like ours, we help coach our clients as well through that process because it's a scary thing.
Well, maybe you can give us some tips on that, coaching for those who haven't dated in a while. What do you say to people who haven't gotten themselves out there?
Well, I say that, you know, just to be open and not put so much parameter around what could be the perfect person. I think if you can be open-minded and be open to the experience and have someone working with you to cheer you on, it really helps a lot.
How does using a matchmaking service like yourself differ from internet dating? Because I think that it's become a very commonplace to internet date. A lot of people find success, I guess, but a lot of people don't. So maybe you can explain how it is different.
Yeah, well, the internet is a large pool to draw from. There's no doubt about that. There are plenty of fish in the sea. And a lot of people hide behind the computer. But I think when it comes to meeting someone and actually getting that, feeling that connection, you know, you really need to be sitting in front of somebody to really feel that.
The chemistry.
Yeah, and if you can have somebody sort of go through, facilitate that process for you, and introduce you to people who seem to fit, that will just dramatically increase the odds.
And you don't use the algorithms, as you said, that internet dating sites do. What is it for you? Is it a gut instinct? You've met someone, maybe a client in their home, and then you just... What is it that you do, that it factor that you find in people?
Well, you know, it's, if I told you all my secrets, then I wouldn't have anything left. But I think that opposites do attract. I really feel that people feel more comfortable with someone that's like themselves. And I think, you know, when we look at things where people who are totally opposite, it's just not going to work. So lifestyle, by me getting a chance to know my clients as much as I can, then we've done all this work up front, then that first date's going to turn into a second date because we've really actually taken the time to make sure it's a good one.
And when people do have a first date, they might be not themselves because of nerves and whatnot. Do you always encourage people to go on a second date, even if they're maybe a little iffy?
Absolutely. I think the first date jitters are common for a lot of people. You know, at least going to meet somebody when you know a little bit more about them, it takes a little bit of stress off. Go for a drink instead of a long dinner. That takes a little more stress off. And if you really like somebody and it feels great, you might want to get to know them a little more. Absolutely. Go for that second date.
Anything you shouldn't do that you've kind of, over the years, because I'm sure you've talked to a lot of people.
Yeah, lots of things you shouldn't do.
Is Valentine's Day a good idea for a first date, do you think?
I think it puts a lot of pressure on. I think that if you're going to do that, it's a great way to sort of show how you care about someone, but be careful, you know, put your credit card away. Don't get overboard on it because I think it scares people away.
Absolutely. Well, Jane, thank you so much for your great advice.
Thanks.
If you want to find out more, or if you want to use Jane's services, her website is on the screen for you right now. So once they find love, Bianca, we're going to tell everyone how they can live longer. If you want to live to be 100, we're going to tell you how right after the break, so don't go away.